I'm looking. And I've got some big ones.
Oh, you got some huge ones.
Yeah. Got 4 of them that size. I had sent Tiffany into the store, so
Hopefully there's some eyes on it because that's what you need.
yeah, let me see. I mean, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's huge.
Yeah, I've got 4 huge ones, so reminds me I need a paper towel.
We're just going to give folks a little bit more time to come in the meantime. Hello. So happy y'all are joining me and Shelly today. And could y'all put in the chat where you are, what growing zone you're in and where you're from. Okay. Oh. But you know we're 8A now, Shelly.
Say again?
I said, you know we're 8A,
What's that?
the growing zone.
Uh, I don't subscribe to those changes. I'm also no longer supposed to be a Sagittarius, but no.
Ooh, 5A. So you're well, it could be 5A anyway. What is your usual Rachel, your the amount of time? What is it called? Your length, your growing season.
Growing
Is it a long
season,
one?
2 to 3 months, depending on what you're growing.
2 to 3?
Yeah, could be longer. It depends on what you're growing and I'm not much of a farmer. I know nothing.
Okay.
I plant my herbs in the end of May, the beginning of June, and harvest in August and September.
Okay.
Because you can have a hard frost before September's over.
Wow.
So it's a shorter growing season.
Yeah.
Actual farmers probably plant late April, early May, and then harvest through September, sometimes into October, depending on how hardy what you're planting is.
Right. Yeah, we have a pretty long growing season out here. I didn't take the ginger that I grew out of the ground until November, I believe.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to put it in a pot if it needs longer than a couple of months. I'm going to have to keep it in a big container because planting it in the ground, it'll be dead before November for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew mine in a container. It's so easy to grow in a container. It doesn't even take up that much space because they grow, rise up. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't need a whole lot of space. Thank y'all so much for joining. We're just asking everyone to put where they're from and their growing zone in the chat. We're going to get started shortly. Okay. What is happening? Okay. So I am Yolanda of Wild and Free Family Farm and Parenting Decolonized. And I have been, this will be my 4th time growing in containers out here in Central Arkansas, Zone 8A. And I'm sure y'all know that I just bought like 3 acres of land out here. So I'm super excited about that. And, wanted to have this workshop because growing this ginger, like I was able to make some amazing juice today with this ginger I grew last year. And folks have been asking me how to grow it. And I thought I'd have this little workshop. So thank y'all for joining. Thank you for your donations because it definitely has, it goes to help Shelly and I get her portion. It goes to help Shelly and I, you know, be out here farming. Yeah, Black farmers. And so yeah, I just want to welcome y'all. It's, if you don't have your stuff, don't worry about it. You'll get a recording, and you can plant whenever you can. And so I'll pass it off to Shelly to introduce herself.
Hey everyone, I am Shelly, one half of Conner Homestead that I share with my lovely wife Tiffany. We purchased our 15-acre homestead in central Arkansas about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, in December of 2020. And we've been slowly kind of putting things in the ground, testing things out. This will be our first year growing in the high tunnel greenhouse that we just had installed on the property. And so we're hoping to, have a lot of things like ginger and tomatoes and pretty much everything in that greenhouse. We, share our journey at Conner Homestead is our handle on all social media platforms, and we put out YouTube videos pretty regularly. So thank you.
Yay, thanks for joining. And Shelly and I met on Facebook, actually. We were in the same gardening group, and they were like, "Where's everybody from?" And saw that she was from Central Arkansas, and then she invited me for a seed swap. And then I've been literally making myself at home in their 15-acre farmstead since then. Okay, I go over there whenever I need a break from life, and so I really appreciate her joining, and for thank you for being a friend. Okay. All right, y'all. Who does have their ginger and stuff? And feel free to, you don't have to stay on off camera. You can be however you want to do this. It's a safe space. If you don't want to be seen, if you do, we're not gonna, this is not some formal thing. I'm hoping that we can, form community with one another. So come off if you have a question or you have something to say, come off mute and we'll go from there. I can hear my daughter downstairs. I'm trying to be with the technology over here and show stuff. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay. So the first part of this is first understanding why we're doing it this way, because you can put this whole thing into the ground and it will grow just fine. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hello. And it will grow just fine. The thing is, if just like with starting any plant, it grows better if you give it a head start. These things take about 10 months to really get a good set of rhizomes underneath the soil. And so you could stick this in there and wait for it to do its thing and sprout and root, or you can just do what we're doing today and grow it. Where's my little thing? And it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for it to not just root, but sprout. And I think that makes it easier for when you plant it out for it to grow in a more healthy way. So what you're gonna do is, can you see? Okay, how do I? Okay, help. Okay, so you see the rhizomes there, the eyes is what we call them. Where's my camera? The eyes, things popping out here. And if you soak them, you might have noticed that they pop out even more. What you want to do, and when you cut this, is you want to cut it where there's at least 2 eyes on a section. So let me cut first. So this has, can y'all even see? I'm trying to get this right. I'm sorry. So there's 2 eyes here. It's actually technically 3 because this is a very small one down here.
It's just off camera. We can't see it.
Oh, Lord.
To your left a little bit.
I'm terrible at this. Oh, boobs. Sorry. Hold on. You didn't pay for that show.
Are these, Yolanda, are these eyes? Because I can also demonstrate.
Yours is a little bit blurry. Hold on, I'm pulling my camera down a little bit more and move it over without flashing you guys.
These right here are eyes.
Yes, that's an eye. Hi, Jess.
Yeah, that's good like that.
Okay, so yes, and so you want to cut each section. They don't have to be big. They can be fairly small, but you want to make sure that there's at least two eyes. Hold on. There's at least two eyes on each. I'm sorry, I promise I'll get it right. There's at least two eyes on each section. All right. So again, the eyes are the things that are topping out the top here. These are where the actual roots will come from. All right. So I'm gonna put it down and cut. And you can also break it if you don't feel comfortable cutting it. You can actually just break it off. So I'm gonna plant all of these. These are all these separate plants. You don't want to do, come on. You don't want to do an extremely small one like this. So this will have one eye and two eyes on it. This one has two eyes on it. This one also has two eyes on it, and so does this one. So you can just break them apart like that. Does that make sense? Please tell me. Yeah.
Do you shave them to make them thin, or is it you just
Nope.
leave them thick like that?
You're gonna leave them thick like that, and you don't have to do anything else because what's gonna grow, what it's gonna grow from is just this part, and this will heal over. The raw part that's now exposed will heal over, right? So it won't like rot or anything. So again, I'm going to just break off these sections. And I'm gonna cut this off here because it's a little bit wrinkled. I'm not gonna use that.
This is a monster one right here.
Yeah.
If you have only one eye, does that just retard it a little bit and so it grows slower?
It doesn't retard the growth at all. You just want more than two eyes just to give it a little bit more of a chance. But if you only have one eye, I say at least try it. Like it's not gonna hurt, you know? That's better.
How many like sections do we, my spouse got me a ton of options, so I'm just curious, how many sections do we want?
It's how many sections, how much do you want? How many ginger plants do you want? That's
I have no idea. All right, we'll go for it.
So if you have a lot and you're like, I don't know if I have room or space to grow all this,
Yeah.
just save the rest for your ginger bug, you know?
Oh yeah, good point. Okay.
So this is like, these are separate plants, y'all. So I have here, I'm not gonna do this one, it's super wrinkly and weird, so I'm not gonna do that. But these are all plants here that will all sprout. So I still have, I wanted to have, and this is some good ones too, a lot sticking out here. Okay, so once you're done with that, you want to take your plastic. So wait, before we take the plastic, paper towel. Now, one thing I forgot to add that you will need is some water. And it's easier if you have a spray bottle, but if you have like just some water, you can kind of dampen this on. You want to lay the damp paper towel inside of your container on the bottom. Oh. So I have like a thing of, I'm just gonna use the ginger water because it don't matter. Oh man. I'm using one of these strawberry containers. She loves her some strawberries, and I know they're out of season. expensive, but she loves them and they're safe food. So we're just gonna set these on top of the damp. And you want to just give them some space. We're not planting anything. This is literally just so they root. So it doesn't need a whole lot of space. Okay. Okay. Then you're gonna take another paper towel and a really damp one and put that on top of your ginger as well.
Is it important for the container to have holes or for so it can be air can flow, or does it matter?
Because you don't I use this one. I think it's really important just because stuff is gonna be damp in here. And you want, it's not gonna be draining anything, but just for the airflow. So if you haven't made holes in it yet, just use something to punch a few holes in it. Doesn't need a whole lot. Or even on top of it. Okay, so the next step is this is where the onion comes in. So have y'all noticed that when you put onions anywhere near things, it sprouts stuff faster? So you're using this onion to help this process go a little bit faster. And all you're gonna do is just slice this onion. Do I take the skin off? Yeah, I take the skin off. And you're just gonna cut it into chunks and you're just gonna lay the onion right on top of the paper towel. And I should have got something to do that. And I did not replace my onion at all when I did this last year. So I don't think you'll need to do that, but you want to. And so the onion, I forgot what the gas is in the onion, but it releases a sulfuric type gas that helps things sprout. That's why when you put them next to stuff, they rot faster. You put any onions, it's supposed to be kept separately because it makes things rot or sprout. Keep your onions away, any kind of peppers. Like I had my onions right now next to my potatoes. I now have a bunch of potatoes that have sprouted. And we're done. You have now, that's all you gotta do. Now, what you have to keep this in a place that is sunny. It does need some sort of sunlight to help it sprout. I actually use my AeroGardens light to keep this because I can't put it in a window. My daughter will mess with it. My cat will mess with it. So I use my AeroGarden light and just put it on the side of the AeroGarden. And this takes about, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks to fully be able to plant it out. You will have to go in and you will have to make sure that these paper towels stay damp. So go in, check it every few days and just dampen the paper towel. And what you'll first notice is little white hairy roots. You won't notice any green. What you notice is little white hairy roots forming. The green starts to form at about 4 weeks. You'll start seeing roots in a few days. And that's all. That's how you sprout ginger in the inside. And then once it's ready, you just stick the root down in there and cover it with soil and let it grow for 10 months and you're good. Easy, right?
we'll let you know in how long did you say?
For the growing season.
For the roots to start emerging.
Roots within like 4 or 5 days. You start seeing like little white hairs on there. It's not mold. It's like, and then you'll start to see the actual like root forming. Give it about a week and you'll start seeing like roots. But again, make sure that stays damp. If it does not stay damp, it'll dry out, and you won't be able to plant it. So there that is. You're done. Keep it in some sunlight. I would love for y'all to let me know what's happening with your ginger. Did you
Now,
think
as far as
it was complicated?
as far as temperature, do we need to keep it at a set temperature, or like, just room temperature is fine?
Room temperature is fine. Yeah, I kept mine in like I said, next to my arrow garden, and it's not even, I don't have any heat over there. So my house stays around 70 degrees. Right? So like 65, 70 degrees plus. And that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, so when you plant it in the soil, does it being really sunny or hot matter? Like
It is a tropical plant. Ginger is a tropical plant. And so it does require at least 6 hours of direct sunlight. So
okay, cool. Thank you.
oh, huh?
Oh, I said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And
And you
again,
said about 10 months for it to mature?
it takes about 10 months for it to mature. Now, if you're able to use the ginger before it's fully mature. If you
Sure.
push back the soil and you see a rhizome and you want to use it, pull it out and use it. It just be small. But if you want a large amount of ginger, you just have to leave it there. Ginger will flower as well if you let it just go before the frost comes, if you get a frost. If you don't get a frost, you're able just to use the ginger and keep it in underground, and it'll just keep producing rhizomes. Every single part of the ginger is edible, and actually, right here, okay, this is the ginger stem, the stalk that I saved. I just haven't put up yet. And here is the ginger leaves. And you can use the whole part of it. You can saute these leaves and use them in like stir fries. You can put them in, they still smell like ginger. You can put them in hot water for tea. You can infuse them in oil and make them into a salve. Ginger is very good for, anti-inflammatory, pain reduction, muscle relief, all that stuff. So literally every single part of this plant is edible and usable. So if you are, once you start seeing them, I mean, leave them alone for, through the summer, but once you start seeing rhizomes form, you can begin taking them out and using them. And they are much stronger, by the way. Like much more zest. Okay. So now that we did that, do you have ginger left over? Y'all have ginger left over? Okay. So I didn't get I forgot a thing to throw away stuff. If you don't have a place like in your house to grow, or, I grew mine on the front of my building's retaining wall thingy that they built inside of a wooden, and it wasn't very deep. It was actually pretty shallow. It may have been about like 3 inches, three, maybe like this tall, and maybe like this long. And I grew a lot of ginger last year. So you don't need a lot of space. You just need to make sure you have that sunlight. And if you want for it to grow longer, you just got to bring it in if you have the space, and put like a heat lamp or a grow light over it, and it'll continue to grow. Okay.
When you plant it outside, how deep are you putting it in? 2 inches? Or you're just covering it?
Yeah, you're covering it So before you put it out, you'll see the sprout. You should see green sprouting by the time you put it out there. So you want to cover it up until the green with obviously the root pointing down. And you know, I used regular potting soil from the store, and I amended it with a few times, just did like some fish fertilizer, and I think I might have did like some banana fertilizer, but that's all. It really isn't a picky plant at all. Like there was times where also it was really, really hot, and it didn't droop or anything. I mean, Arkansas, it gets hot as hell out here, but it loves the humidity. You do need to water it, and yeah. So if y'all want to create a ginger bug, you just need your ginger. Let me wash my knife off real quick. Okay. So, okay. All you need for a ginger bug is ginger. This is this is in a honey jar, but it's my cane sugar. I buy that bulk, so that's why it looks like that. And a cup of water. That's all you need right now. You all as well as the paper towel. So this is the ginger bug this is the second one I made. The first one I started using, I actually started just drinking it as a shot, like a kombucha shot, and it's so good. But you just need 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of chopped up or grated ginger, and 1 tablespoon of cane sugar. You want to make sure that you have like a paper towel or a cheesecloth or something. This is a fermentation, so it does bubble. It does release gases, and you need something to keep the paper towel on or whatever. So a rubber band, or I use the ring from the thing. And the skin on the ginger actually contains a lot of like wild yeast. So that's why you keep the skin on. So you chop that as fine as possible and measure out like a tablespoon and put that in your jar. And I had another jar up here, but I don't know where I put it. So who all is making a ginger bug? Okay. So let's get to chopping.
Chopping as we speak.
Okay. You want to kind of get them a little bit small. I don't have knife skills, y'all. I used a grater last time. And if you have an abundance of ginger, let's say after your harvest this coming fall, you have like so much ginger that you don't know what to do with it. I put mine in the freezer. You can actually use frozen ginger in a ginger bug. It doesn't kill off the wild yeast. Okay, last time I did this, I did like the whole ginger and then just kept the rest of it, you know, and just was able to dole out 1 tablespoon at a time to save my future self some chopping.
Can this recipe be doubled without issue, or is there like a conversion?
Good question. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, because I don't see why it wouldn't be able to, but also I think because you go through it fast once you start using it. So I think it's worth the try to double it. I think you just need those proportions. You can also use honey instead of raw or cane sugar. Some people use maple syrup. because I've already almost gone through the first one I made. I did not make soda. I added it to my sparkling water yesterday. And yeah, I was very happy. Especially as somebody that like I did have my first like craving for alcohol, told y'all I stopped drinking. And I had some pizza yesterday and I really wanted a beer. So I just there's no substitution, but I made myself a sparkling water with guava flavored sparkling water with some ginger bug. It's pretty tasty.
Would you say the finer it's cut, the better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Surface area, you know. That's why I just shredded mine. So I can't find not nary a measuring spoon. I think my daughter has them in her play area, which means I don't want those back. So I'm going to just put one of whatever this is. I don't know if this is a tablespoon or what, but I just did one heaping one of those.
Have you tried making the ginger bug with the different sugars, with the honey, with the maple?
I haven't. I don't have organic maple maple syrup. And I don't know if not having organic makes a difference. So I didn't want to try it. I am interested in trying it with the honey. I feel like that would be really interesting, especially because honey has, you know, its own bacteria, you know, and I'm just wondering how that will work out. And okay, where's the 1 cup on here? Oh, there it is. You want to stir this and try to get the sugar to dissolve. So you want to stir until that happens. You can also just put the top on for a minute, shake it around to dissolve it.
How much sugar did you put in? I had to step away for a minute.
Oh, it's okay. You put a tablespoon.
Thank
So
you.
you get a tablespoon of ginger, tablespoon of sugar, honey or syrup, and a cup of water. And that's your starter. That's how you start. So every day you have to add another tablespoon of ginger, another tablespoon of sugar for 6 days. So what I noticed with mine was it got really bubbly around like day 4, and then it stopped being as bubbly towards the end. So I thought something was wrong with it until I went online and researched. And they were like, no, it's very subtle sometimes, but you know, the carbonation action comes from when you add it to a soda or something. So I forgot I don't have the right ring for the top of mine. So every day you're gonna, and it just needs room temperature. And it needs to be set on top of the counter or on top of the fridge. And like I said, every day, 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1 tablespoon of sugar for 6 days. On that 7th day, it should be ready to use. If you notice any mold, obviously throw it out. If you notice any, if you notice that it's super cloudy, go ahead and throw that out too and start over.
Okay, how much water? A cup of water?
Cup of water.
Cup of water, a tablespoon of ginger, and a tablespoon of sugar. So I'm thinking about what do you think about this organic agave nectar?
I think it probably works just fine.
Okay. I was looking to do some honey, but okay. All right. cup of water, cup of ginger, and so water and this first dissolve it.
You may want to, because that's going to take a minute to dissolve. So whatever order, you gotta swirl it around anyway. But it's a tablespoon ginger, tablespoon sugar or sweetener, cup of water.
Get my water.
Where do you set yours? Just like on the counter?
I did until Gia saw it, so now it's on
Okay.
the refrigerator.
Okay.
She saw me feeding it, and she was like, she went to grab this. I was using one and feeding the other one, and she started to grab it. I'm just like, let me move this out of here. Funky Finger Productions grasp.
So if we're adding 6 cups in 6 days, we need a pretty big container.
No.
Then, I would think.
So you're not adding liquid. You're only adding ginger and sugar for the next 6 days. Yeah. So and that's why I'm saying I don't think it really, if you wanted to double up, it probably shouldn't be a problem as long as you kept those proportions, right? So if you wanted to do 4 cups at a time, you just need to make sure that it is 4 tablespoons of both of those things. And when you feed it, you got to remember to feed it that all the time. So again, your napkin or your cheesecloth, make sure that it is able to be, use a rubber band or whatever to keep it down, and you're done. After day 7, it should be ready to use. Now, some people, and this is what I've been doing, I've been drinking it like a kombucha and just take a shot of it. It's so good. It tastes sweet, but the sugar content has been eaten by the bacteria and by the yeast. So it's not like you're eating syrup. It does taste sweet, but it's also very strong. And when you add it to, when you use it to make natural soda, it adds natural carbonation. And this is how you start. This is like your starter for ginger ale or ginger beer. Okay. And I forgot something to put these in, but I'm gonna go downstairs and finish chopping this up once we're done. All right. So once you start using it, you can actually keep the ginger bug indefinitely in the refrigerator. You just have to feed it once a week. I went ahead, the first one I used, I did strain off the so when it's ready, do you drink it as is? Yeah. So I drink it, I just pour a little bit of it in a glass, and like it's really good probiotic drink. So you can drink it as is. But a lot of people just use it to start their natural sodas to get natural carbonation. I don't have a recipe for that, but if you look up like how to make homemade ginger ale or ginger beer, a ginger bug is a big part of it. And I think that's only like ginger, water, sugar, and lime, or lemon and lime. It's super easy to make. But you can keep this ginger bug in the refrigerator indefinitely, and just make sure you're feeding it once a week with a tablespoon of each thing. And there you go. Look at us being holistic.
Okay, so to recap, because I'm behind on everything.
Okay.
This is a cheesecloth. That's fine, right? And just using like a rim here.
Mm-hmm.
And then now this is going to go, did you say in the refrigerator?
No, that sits on your counter.
Okay, this sits on the counter. Doesn't need sun.
It doesn't need sun. It just sits on your counter or on top of the fridge. And you're going to feed it once a day, See, you're gonna feed it once a day, 1 tablespoon of ginger and 1 tablespoon of your sweetener.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna
For
get to
6 days.
chopping up some more ginger just so it'll be ready.
Exactly. I gotta go down there and do that. So if you are starting turmeric, you will be amazed at how easy that is to start, because oh, you just need something like this that doesn't have any holes in it. And all you do is put your turmeric at the bottom of it. And I'm not gonna put this water because I don't know if it has anything in it. You're gonna fill it up just a little bit to maybe where it's covering the turmeric like by halfway. And then because if you soak this, it's already soaked and you don't have to do anything. But every day you need to make sure that the top of it is wet until it starts to sprout. And that's how you start turmeric. Like, it's extremely easy. You just got to keep making sure that that the water that's evaporating from the bottom stays filled, and that the top of the top of the actual rhizome stays. This one I might not use. This is pretty raggedy looking. Maybe. But the top of the actual rhizome is wet all the time. What I plan to do is cover this with some clear plastic wrap to create a greenhouse effect. And then it's less for me to have to do every single day to check on it. So I suggest you probably do the same. Just put some plastic wrap over it if you have it, or a lid, and put that in a sunny place. And that's it.
How high did you fill the water with that? Like,
Let me see if I can. About halfway up the rhizome.
okay.
And so these grow basically the same way as ginger. They grow more horizontally. I mean, my ginger got pretty deep, and it grew in like these big clumps. These grow like little caterpillars for a reason. They grow really horizontally. And so you just want to make sure that they have space to spread out, and to, when you plant them, you're going to kind of plant them in little rows, and they're going to expand out this way horizontally. I feel like we have all been really duped into thinking like growing food is hard, and like it's so easy. Once I learned how to do this, I was like, why haven't I been doing this? Because ginger and turmeric is so damn expensive that I don't want to buy it. When we're using ginger bug, feeding it once a week, do we need to add more water? You do not need to add more water. I mean, so one lady said she does top hers off with I think, I forget. I did not add more water. I just started a new one. And now, if you research this, there's probably someone who has done this for a lot longer that has different information as far as filling it up with water. This lady said she does add water, but I don't remember how much, and I don't want to tell you anything wrong. But I didn't add any more water. I just used it until it was gone and started a new one. So I think what I am going to do is, the next time, I think I am going to use a bigger container, so I can, because I really like it. It tastes really good, and I'm just drinking it straight like a shot at this point. That's all, friends. We started. This is like actually the first stuff I've started for the 2024 growing season. So yay. And I'm gonna actually experiment, because I want to know putting a piece of onion in here with the rhizome with the turmeric will actually help it sprout too. I'm curious about that. So I'm just gonna do a little experiment and see what happens, and I'll report back and see if it did help, because it definitely helps the ginger.
If you did the ginger or turmeric in a container, would it have to be pretty deep container?
No, it's not a, you don't, no, it's
Okay.
not a deep, it's not, because they don't grow down really, they grow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like if you planted it in something the shape of a window box, you probably have the
okay.
right, because
Exactly.
it grows horizontal more
All
than
right.
depth.
Yeah. Thanks.
Exactly what I planted the ginger in. It was like a window box.
Yeah.
That makes sense for something that grows horizontally. If it only needs a few inches of soil deep, then yeah.
Yolanda, so this is like a ginger ale starter, you said, right? The ginger bug. So do you know what the ratio is if you were, to make a ginger ale with it, part to what, carbonated water or?
You're not using any carbonated water. This
Okay.
is the carbonation.
Okay. So part of the bug to what do you
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when you pour it in, you're not going to get carbonation. It ferments again, right? Because usually you're using like fresh juice, that you're using fresh juice, or you're using fresh ginger. And so when you use the ginger bug in the natural soda, I think it takes about 3 to 5 days for it to actually become carbonated using a ginger bug.
Okay.
Or you got that book?
Which one?
You got one of them make your own alcohol books, because you can actually use this to make alcohol with.
Oh. Look, some of us did not get on the wagon with you, so.
Good day.
But if I can replace my
And can sure can. Ooh, ginger wine sounds amazing, actually. Now, I didn't say I was staying sober. I said I'm sober right now. Okay. I just need to not drink for coping reasons.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
a difference.
So you said like when you chop this ginger up, you actually will keep yours in the freezer sometimes, and you can add to the bug from there.
Yeah, if you have a lot of ginger and you chopped it up or whatever, and you're like, I don't want this to go to waste. Now, over the course of 6 days, it's not. But if you chop up a lot, you can still make a ginger bug with frozen ginger. That wild yeast that's all over the outside of it doesn't die. It just goes dormant.
Yeah, because I think Tiffany bought up the whole store of ginger.
Yeah, and it'll shrivel up on you. So I just put mine in a Ziploc bag, and I just use it as needed. Otherwise, I was noticing that it was just shriveling and shriveling. So it's a waste of.
Yeah, when it dries naturally, that's fine too, because it's good. You can still use it in tea.
That's true.
So, and just
Grind it up.
Yeah, instead of having to put it in the dehydrator, it's already kind of dried up. Yeah.
About that. So y'all have any more questions? I'm super excited. Thank y'all for joining us for like our very first. Shelly and I both want to like do stuff when we in person, but I think doing stuff virtually is also just really fun, because everybody ain't coming out to Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas is a long way away.
I mean, I hope to host people. I hope to have, things at the farm once it's up and running, but until then, it's going to be virtual over here.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope maybe by the fall to be able to have at least sort of one workshop on the property in the greenhouse, because it's it's such a nice space.
Can you show them
the greenhouse?
Well, you don't have to go in, but just show them the outside.
Give me a little.
I put her on the spot.
No, it's just
Not
that
bad.
sitting in the kitchen. I don't know that if
There
yeah,
you go.
but I can locate a photo to show.
It's a beautiful property. Rachel, you were saying?
I have no idea what I was going to say.
I know. Same.
Oh, oh, I know. When your farm is up and running, you might want to check out a program called Harvest Host,
Mhm.
where you host RVers and people who travel in vans just for one night at a time as your space allows.
Wow.
And you just give them parking. If you're really nice, you can give them electricity. But then if you have products to sell, almost everybody who stays will come and shop in whatever little store you have.
Yeah, that's cool. And
Yeah.
I do plan on making a couple RV spots that are connected to the septic and that have their own little electricity in the future.
Then you will be a very popular stopping spot if you have septic.
Yeah.
Because finding places that let you do that is it's not a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
In
thing
which
is,
case we might come visit you.
I mean, please. I feel like the thing about gardening is it's so communal. And I just want to I thought this was so hard. I thought growing food was so difficult. And like seeds want to grow. They really,
Right.
food wants to grow. It's so funny because I'm looking at that mint that I just chopped down. I tore out the roots, all this stuff. And it is popping up. And I'm just like, I
Everywhere.
kind of wish you would die. You are taking over.
Mint is the invasive species of all gardens.
Oh my gosh. I love it though. But I mean, you're doing a lot, mint. But
Yeah,
it just like I've killed this thing twice now and it won't go away. So
no, it's not gonna.
So if you
oh,
guys
that's
see,
a high tunnel.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I know there's some glare going on here, probably from the windows, but
But we can still see it. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Through the NRCS, right?
yep. I don't mind doing a workshop on that virtually at some point, but I need to get through the appeals process that I'm having with them because my local NRCS and we have a conflict that we need to resolve.
And it will be resolved.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is an issue with the NRCS in general. It's just the local county office just didn't have themselves together.
Right.
And ultimately the program did more of a disservice and a harm to us than help or assist. So yeah, at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't grow up with any of this. And the thing is, I come from a family of farmers, but from like my grandfather backwards. My mom and all them, they grew up on the farm, but they didn't like take any of that with them. And that happened a lot, especially with Black people with like the Great Migration. A lot of Black folks were like, I'm done with this agricultural stuff. And I'm so happy that we are coming back to, I mean, I just see all the stuff that's happening and it's scary. And I want to be in control as much as I can of my own food system. So um I think ginger and turmeric are some powerful medicines. And if we can grow our own and not have to spend the money and I'm able to like give it to other people, help a neighbor out, help a family member out when they need it, then I think that's what's most important. So do
Yep.
y'all have any questions or have anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that, Yolanda, and say, especially if there's anything that you can grow that's sort of a high value crop. And the great thing about these, they're pricey when you go buy them. They're very cheap and inexpensive to grow, and they don't take a lot of space. So anything that, requires low effort, but has high value, definitely jump right into those things as well. And then your family and friends, especially if they use them, they can purchase them from you. From this stage after harvest, it also is very easy to dry it and powder it. So if those of you are using ground ginger and turmeric, especially in Caribbean dishes and things like that, the next step in the process is just as easy and it doesn't require much time. And so letting your friends and family know, hey, I can be your ginger dealer. Go for it.
Not a ginger dealer. But like I said, the whole thing is edible. The whole thing is edible. Like it is an amazing plant. Like the whole thing is edible. And so what I plan to do is put these the stems of it into some avocado oil and use and to make some salves and stuff. I plan on, using the leaves for some homemade teas. Any idea low effort, high value things people can grow? I think the lowest effort and the highest value are herbs. Herbs are expensive. When you go to the store to get you some fresh herbs, just look at the price of those little packages that you get in the freezer. They're $3.99 for those little things. Hell no. They're the most, to me, they're the easiest to grow sometimes, and very little effort as long as you understand your grow zone and what they need. And for the most part, they aren't that fussy. I feel like the only thing that I haven't successfully grown well has been lavender.
Mm-hmm.
You're too warm for lavender. It likes it a little cooler than where you are.
I have the
I had no
doesn't flower, and I don't even think that's medicinal. I think that's ornamental.
right. It lavender doesn't like to be overly moist or overly warm, so you probably have problems with humidity. But I grow herbs, and I'm learning more about the medicinal properties of them. But herbs, you stick them in the ground, they grow. And in some climates, they're even perennial.
Mm-hmm.
Like oregano is perennial in not where I am, but in other places it's a perennial.
Rosemary.
Here it's
and rosemary is super easy.
Our oregano has come back. Our sage. We talked about mint. Also, what else do we have out there? Sage, oregano, thyme.
Yeah, my thyme is fine. It's here through the frost.
Lemon balm is when I was doing, because I eventually want to get into distilling oils as well, because that's pretty pricey too. When you buy those little 2-ounce bottles, so whether you're infusing cosmetics or body care, that stuff is pricey. And if you can grow enough and harvest enough, and because you need a huge abundance of the oil, or even use the oil water byproduct, which is called hydrosol, but you can make soaps and things like that. Lemon balm is one of the most expensive oils out there. How much it can fetch for an ounce.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest bang for your buck is herbs. I feel like everything else does take a little bit of, well, roots are not that bad either. Like I don't think it's very difficult to grow root vegetables. I just haven't had the space, so I haven't done it. And lettuces. I'm just thinking of things that, because if you think about all the recalls that are happening with stuff like lettuce and why they are being recalled. I don't know. There was a Netflix documentary about all the lettuce recalls. And it has less to do with the handling afterwards, but more to do with the people who are picking it. They don't get breaks. So a lot of them actually use the bathroom while they're working. Like they don't get breaks. Like the labor stuff that they go through is terrible for us to eat this romaine. So, and because, their hands are contaminated and then they put it in this thing. It can't, you have to get heat on things in order to decontaminate a lettuce or a leafy green. So it does not matter if it says quadruple washed, it needs to be washed, but it's not going to kill off any E. coli.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to just grow my own, and you can grow that. I mean, and I have, because I've been buying these doggone expensive ass strawberries for Gia, I have a ton of these. And so I'm just gonna grow a bunch of lettuce in this and call it a day. So I can cut and come again with this whole thing. The lettuce seeds are super cheap, and to me, it's one of the things can be easily replaced. It is a great time of year. But also, when it does get really hot, there's I think Malabar spinach that you can grow. What type of lettuce will grow in those containers? I mean, lettuce has a very shallow root system, and so you can grow almost, I mean, nothing that heads up, something like a spinach or like a lettuce medley like seed packet. It's such a shallow root system that it doesn't need a whole lot of space or a lot of soil to grow in them. You just need sunlight and water.
And
Yeah.
definitely microgreens as well. If you're into those, they can utilize the small containers. You go and cut them with scissors, sprinkle them on top of salads, and then just keep them gone. I usually use my small containers for miniature hydroponic systems for lettuce and stuff like that as well.
I mean, do you want to quickly show them what's behind you?
Oh, we cleaned that out.
Oh, you did? You can just set up.
Yeah, I had a hydroponic. My rails usually go here. I usually have a rail system here, here, and here, and I've got grow lights that I've attached underneath the shelves. And so the rail systems, I make them from downspouts. I actually can grab one right over here.
Some amazing bok choy.
I thought I could grab one, but my wife has been on a cleaning spree. They are put up in the garage, but I usually make them from downspouts. And there's some videos up on our YouTube channel, Conner Homestead, in the hydroponics section that can show you how to make small DIY hydroponic setups, even from coffee creamer cans or coffee cans. So
you grow, like when I first went to her house, she taught us how to do a tomatillo in a coffee canister. I think this is a crack key style or no?
Yeah, it's cracky, so it's non-circulating. You don't need any air pumps or anything like that, and you just essentially create. I might even have a little system. Here we go. Here's even a smaller one. So these takeout containers. It's red because I painted it because you don't want algae forming. But I cut a hole in the top of it, and then I have a net cup that fits directly into the hole. Voila. And then, I've learned this from Mike Van Doozy's channel, Keep On Growing, but you can cut a pool noodle to use to kind of hold the plant in place. And so it's a real quick, easy setup. And I use coffee cans for bigger systems for like dwarf cherry tomatoes and stuff like that. Peppers, I've grown successfully in there. And you just put it under a grow light or in a sunny area. So.
It's so Shelly and I will talk about what future topics we'll be teaching, and that may be one of them. Because once you have a seedling, depending on the type of seedling, how big it is, you can do that method that she just talked about. So we'll get together and figure out. But if you guys could tell me what some things that you would like to learn, we'll see if we can help bridge that gap. I'm going to send everybody an email just to say, thank you. And I appreciate y'all for joining us this first time for this. And I'm going to put this recording. I gotta obviously, yes, yeah, I'm gonna put it up. It's going to be unlisted on YouTube, and you will have access to it for however long you want.
Yay.
Yay, first
Thank
time.
you so much.
Thank y'all. And I would love to see some progress pics of your ginger rooting and your turmeric. Love to see how that goes. And let me know how your ginger bug is coming too. Okay. Thank you. Yay. Exciting and new. If there's nothing else, we're gonna go ahead and call it because my daughter just got home. And I appreciate y'all so much for joining. Thank you, Ellie. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye.